Vamos ver qual que é o BO da Mojang aí que deu, velho. Tem uma feature aí no Mojang que quebrou o jogo aí, que eu tava querendo ver esse vídeo aí. Vamos ver qual que é o situaciones. Las situaciones del Minecraft. Mojang needs to fix this feature right now.
Ever since
Vamos ver qual que é a feature do Minecraft que eles têm que arrumar o mais rápido possível, senão é VAC-ban.
Ever since 2012, there's been a Minecraft feature, or rather mechanic, that has silently remained in the game, somehow seemingly out of Mojang's awareness. It's a mechanic that was designed for a bygone era of Minecraft that nowadays is extremely out of place as well as outdated. A mechanic which nobody likes and have been asking Mojang to remove for quite some time. Which just begs the question, why does such a Minecraft mechanic
quando você
exist?
fica upando, aí fica too expensive e não dá mais, é isso?
One of which is so oddly specific too.
I'm kidding until they remove this. Ah, que isso. Cara, que todo Minecraft por causa do bagulho da Envil. Ah, não, velho, não, que isso. Ai, olha, você é louco. Tem cada ser vivo que não tem como, né, mano? Às vezes, quando eu começo a imaginar, pô, sinceramente, velho, a gente entende que só tem retardado no Twitter mesmo, velho. A gente entende no Reddit também, mano. É, sinceramente, não dá, velho. O cara tá quitando do servidor ou do jogo por causa disso. Não, não é possível. Ah, que isso, mano. Não dá, não dá.
For those of you who weren't aware, when you go to repair a tool in an anvil or combine tools and enchanted books together, if the total cost of that job would be 40 levels or more, the anvil will simply say it's expensive and won't let you do it in survival. The way anvils work is that every time you put an item into the anvil and do something to it, whether that be repairing, adding or combining enchantments, except for renaming, it gets 1 anvil use point. After 6 anvil uses, the XP cost to do something with that tool then exceeds 40. So, repairing a pickaxe 6 times or adding 6 enchanted books to a sword individually will become too expensive. Anyways, most of you might have encountered this by surprise whilst playing Minecraft without realizing such a mechanic existed. And that begs the question, why does it actually exist? To understand that, we need to look at why such a mechanic was added in the...
É, porque se você não colocar o mending, você se fudeu, né? Aí a espada vai quebrar, você não pode ficar arrumando ela. E aí, GG... E aí você tem que ir lá pegar novos livros e fazer tudo de novo, é pra deixar essa constância.
First place. Back in late 2012.
Aí por isso todo mundo coloca mending pra não ter esse problema de expensive, tá ligado?
During Minecraft 1.4.2, where the anvil was first added to the game, Minecraft's enchanting system was quite a bit different and had only recently been updated. Also, side note, did you know that when the anvil was first added, it required 6 iron blocks instead of just 3?
Ah, é por isso que quando eu fazia Anvil, eu falava, rapaziada, como que faz a Anvil? Porque eu ainda lembrava dessa crafting, mano. Eu não conseguia falar, gente, como que faz a Anvil? O que precisa? Porque eu lembro que era essa daqui que eu mais fazia, mano, na época dos dias 1, velho. Era assim mesmo, velho.
For the time, especially because iron farms didn't really exist yet. Anyways, prior to this update, the ability to repair items did technically exist, as added by Notch the year prior in 1.
Tem que ter, o Notch sabe o que faz, né? Notch sabe o que faz.
0.0,
Notch sabe.
Using crafting tables. And even more interestingly is that Notch had seemingly discarded the idea of a dedicated repair table, adding the ability to repair items in the crafting table instead. However, there was an issue with this system. It only worked on non-enchanted items, and if you tried to repair an enchanted item, it would lose its enchantments. 1.0.0 to 1.2.5 was a particularly brutal time for Minecraft players. Not only could enchanted tools not ever be repaired, but getting enchanted tools in the first place was significantly more difficult. A max...
Nossa senhora, 6x é foda.
Level enchantment...
Sped up! É sped up, ele, ó. Não é speed up, é sped up.
Required 50 levels back then, and to even reliably see that in the enchantment table, you had to spend a good 20 minutes clicking the item in and out, resetting the enchantment...
Isso era chato pra caralho.
Over and over. And then once you did find a level 50 enchantment, you couldn't preview it and just had to pray it was good. If it wasn't, now you had to grind all 50 levels again. That's right, the enchantment table used all your levels back then. In 1.3.1, this system was updated to be more similar to what we have today, and it was likely around then that Notch and Mojang realized that the ability to fix enchanted items needed to be added, which led to the anvil. When the anvil was first added, it was actually harder to reach the too expensive limit, as repairing an item only added a flat 2 XP increase each time you did it. That being said, depending on the enchantments on the item, the cost to repair an item started quite high, but didn't as rapidly increase to a level that was too expensive. And this system made sense for the time. Mending did not yet exist, meaning that all players knew that their tools...
Pior que é foda nos servidores de factions que tinha lá nos 1.bola, né? servidor de survival, etc, mano. Que era foda essa merda desgraçada que quebrava, ficava too expensive. Mas os caras faziam uns plugins lá uma foda também.
Forever and would break eventually.
Pra salvar isso.
Even after repairing them over and over. If anything, they were thankful that they could now repair their enchanted tools at all. It was clear that Mojang designed the anvil with the idea in mind that players could not infinitely repair an item over and over, but also
o mending salvou, né, no final, mano.
Understood that having them being irreparable, as they were prior, was not a good idea either. Not to mention that getting XP wasn't as easy back then, and methods of farming XP also weren't as widespread. 40 levels then was a really significant amount, but nowadays with the right setup, that can be obtained in mere seconds. Mere seconds, just like the time it takes all of you guys to hit that subscribe button and help me reach 900k subs. No pressure, of course. It wasn't until Minecraft 1.8 released
Eu tô inscrito, dê like.
In 2014, where the more punishing version of item combining and repairing systems that we have today would come to exist.
Janeiro 9, 2014, 12 anos atrás! Caralho! Ai, meu Deus, tá passando rápido pra caralho. Tô ficando velho pra porra, mano. Chato, insuportável, tiltado, reclamão. Velho!
And then where only one update later, mending would be added too. And this is where things get confusing. Minecraft has changed a lot since the addition of the anvil. With mending, Mojang now enabled players to have a way for their gear to remain forever. But it would still come at a cost, that being the time investment required to find enough mending books to put on your gear. Or find a villager that traded a mending book. Back in 1.13 and earlier, villagers always had set trades that could not be changed like today. So to have a reliable source of mending books, you'd have to scour your world's villagers for librarians, hoping one spawns with a mending trade, or breed hundreds of villagers until you got one. Mending was still quite rare for some time in 1.9 to 1.13, but in 1.14 that changed, and
com o update do villager.
Getting mending now became a trivially boring task of breaking and placing a librarian's workstation over and over for a couple minutes until it got a mending trade. With the addition of mending and the later change making mending easy to sustainably access, it's clear that Mojang wanted to allow players to have their tools and gear forever, never breaking permanently. But then why does the too expensive restriction still exist? Leaving this mechanic that was designed for an older Minecraft era in modern Minecraft has only led to issues. Let's talk about them. Issue 1. The too expensive mechanic is not intuitive. It's never explained to players, and up until a player sees the too expensive text in the anvil for the first time, they wouldn't even know the mechanic existed. Imagine
Enchanted too expensive is a problem.
You as a new Minecraft
2011 o post do cara no fórum, mano. 2011, mano. A sensação de jogar Minecraft tinha esse fórum. E tinha as fotinhos e era tão nicho, tá ligado? Essa sensação de entrar em fórum no Minecraft, mano, era uma sensação boa do caralho pra jogar Mine. Era uma sensação que, tipo, eu vou abrir o Minecraft, vou fazer minhas coisas, eu vou entrar no fórum, ver o que os caras tá falando. Pô, era um bagulho muito gostoso também. O fórum do Minecraft no início era muito louco, mano. Você vê umas coisas muito diferenciadas de pessoas lá da Europa, dos Estados Unidos, da Ásia, tá ligado? E a Ásia era, tipo, muito nicho também, mano. Era bom, velho. Era bom esse fórum, velho. Era do caralho, velho. Como que tá o fórum do Minecraft hoje, velho? Acho que tá o mesmo design, quer ver? Minecraft fórum. Nossa, gente. Mas ninguém escreve mais nada no fórum. Ai, mano. Isso é louco. Oh. Tem uma galera ainda, calma aí. Existe tem um super nicho do nicho. Mano. O cara entrou em 2016, mano. Minha conta deve ser do quê? 2011? Eu tenho que logar. Nossa, dá até medo. Não vou nem ver. Não, para. Deixa eu voltar aqui.
Player are deep into the...
Pra que esse Mojang ignora? Não, esse fórum, mano, é... Foda-se, Mojang ignora. Era da hora o bate-papo entre comunidades. Você encontrava uns players legal também, mano.
Progression of a survival world, and in doing so, have repaired your pickaxe multiple times. Each time the only thing you see in the end... is the price to repair said pickaxe going up. This is an intuitive logical system that makes sense without explanation. Every time you repair something, it gets more expensive to repair again, and every time you add or combine enchantments, it does too. But then one day, randomly out of the blue, the cost to fix your pickaxe suddenly becomes too expensive. Up until that point, what indication or warning did you have of such a mechanic existing? How could you have known that at a random arbitrary number, you suddenly cannot repair your pickaxe again? It's not even a logical number that might make sense, like 30, the same level as the max enchant in the
porque às vezes você não quer colocar mending, né?
It's 40, which
você quer colocar outro encantamento, tipo, pra ter mais espaço, porque melhora, de certa forma, tá ligado?
Very random.
Mas aí você tem que colocar mending pra não ter esse problema.
Minecraft has, throughout its history, tried to move away from unintuitive game mechanics. The Green Crafting Assistant book was added to do just that, and prevent people from having to Google crafting recipes. So why does such an unintuitive mechanic still remain today? Issue 2, the fact that items become too expensive to repair eventually, forces players in long-term worlds to play a specific way. While it is at least...
É verdade, mano. Jogar especificamente de um jeito, de uma maneira específica obrigatória, ter o mending pra não passar por esse problema, né?
Do today, if you are a long-term player, you will need to add mending to your full loadout.
Yup, é o tipo meio que obrigatório, verdade.
And you will likely need to build a small villager trading hall or seek...
É, pior que você, no final você joga Minecraft no mesmo caminho merda, né? Na parte de encantamento, você tem que estar usando mending.
out villages with the
E você perde alguns encantamentos, principalmente no arco, que são bons, né, mano? Tipo, você não pode deixar Infinity com mending, né?
The purpose of converting one into a long-term mending librarian. Rather than
pode Infinity com mending? Acho que não, né?
Let players choose to use mending or choose to use increasingly high amounts of XP. Players are basically...
Mano, não adianta eu jogar esse jogo há 100 mil anos, eu não lembro mais das coisas, porque, mano, o Survival me deu tanta preguiça que eu acho que o meu cérebro, ele fica esgomertando fora tudo que eu aprendi de farm, tudo que eu aprendi de modificação, de sistema, tudo. Tudo que eu era no mais tryhard de Survival lá nos dias, eu expurgo da minha mente, porque o Minecraft Survival me dá muito sono, mano. E o meu cérebro faz eu esquecer tudo. Tudo, velho. Eu esqueço tudo. Eu não sei mais como fazer um arco de novo no Minecraft. Eu não sei se é stick aqui, stick aqui, stick aqui e três teias, ou é teia e 3 stick, velho. É bizarro, porque é o único jogo que eu esqueço 100% das coisas, mano.
Play part of the game one specific way.
E toda hora que eu vou jogar um Survival, eu pergunto pra galera do chat, como que faz aquilo, como faz aquilo. Eu não lembro.
Brings us to issue 3. These days, as mentioned, getting 40 levels is easy, especially once you have a solid XP farm later in the game. And as such, if players have the ability to get 40 levels and much greater amounts, why restrict the ability
Mano, se eu falar que eu lembro de fazer uma farm da Super Tryhard, eu não lembro mais também, mano.
Use them. The only valid reason to restrict players from doing so in the past was before mending existed, and gear and tools were not meant to last forever. But now that you can make them last forever with mending, why does this limit still exist? And the final issue, which is more so an issue with Minecraft's entire enchanting system as a whole, is the fact that where once getting a full set of protection for armor and max tools was a challenge that took time, these days with the modern forgiving enchantment system, new mechanics, easy villages, and easier infinite XP sources, getting a full set of Prop 4 and max tools is quite easy. Join any survival server and you will see players with dozens of sets in their ender chests, where once years ago, having a single set and a max sword was a feat in of itself. Now, that may sound like a
Caralho! Como é? Brightness, Kill Aura, Speed, Sprint, No Fall, Speed Gonzalez. O que é Speed Gonzalez? Ok.
But I don't actually think it's an issue. In the past, getting max armor and tools was excessively grindy, and it wasn't fun or skill-based.
É servidor de survival cheat, normal.
Either. It just took a lot of time and a lot of mundane, mindless clicking. I'm glad that Minecraft has progressed.
É o ligeirinho?
Beyond that. But in doing so, additional enchantments...
Speed ligeirinho. Caralho, papo reto. Caralho, papo reto. Speed Gonzalez. Foda.
Don't actually think it's an issue. In the past, getting max armor and tools was excessively grindy, and it wasn't fun or skill-based either. It just took a lot of time and a lot of mundane, mindless clicking. I'm glad that Minecraft has progressed beyond that. But in doing so, additional enchantment mechanics that players can further strive for also haven't been added. The best enchantments for armor and tools today is basically still the same as they were 14 years ago. The only difference now being the existence of netherite. What should have happened since then is the ability for late game game players to get even better gear when they have the time and resources to do so. And MOJANG actually did do this back in 2019 during 1.14, where for the first time in the game's history, they allowed players to put multiple different types of protection on armor. This took a lot of time and a lot of XP to do. It wasn't necessary to do either, you weren't forced to do it as you were with mending, you could still get by perfectly fine with the same old full prot 4, but it added a new fun objective and task for late game players. Funnily enough, you had to combine the books in a very specific way to make this armor to get around the too expensive restriction. The ability to create these god sets of armor lasted only for a brief period of time, as later in 1.14.3, the ability to put multiple enchantments on the same armor piece was removed. Anyways, the point I'm making here is that as Minecraft updated and more content was added over the years, with max armor and tools becoming easier to get, the enchanting system should have evolved too, and with it, the too expensive cap being removed. One way the system could be updated, which I've tried out on my survival server, is adding a new type of item called runes, which are like enchanted books but for higher levels of enchantments. So for example, if a player wanted protection 5, 6 or even higher, they can get a rune with that protection level and put it on their armor. What makes this system interesting is that you can't as reliably get max level enchantments as you can now. You have to get a lot of XP from an XP farm and buy a random rune with the hopes of getting it. In addition, the runes don't always have a guarantee that they will succeed. They could fail and even break your item entirely, but you can also buy gems with XP that you can then use to improve the rune's odds. Now, obviously this system is designed more for a multiplayer format.
Sistema de multiplayer, de odds e tudo mais, aí você tem que comprar, roletar, tentar pegar um item que tem mais odds, como que é? Colocar coins, como que é?
And if it were added to vanilla Minecraft, it would likely be notably simpler. But the core idea behind this system is that it adds ways to get high level enchantments for late game players that require significant effort, grinding and a powerful XP farm, giving those players a goal or task to strive for. If this system or something similar was in vanilla Minecraft, the idea would be that it's not required to get this more powerful gear, but it is an option that adds additional gameplay. You should come check out the survival server, by the way. Both Bedrock and Java players can join. We've even removed the too expensive level cap. Anyways, there is no good reason today for the cap to remain. Minecraft has moved beyond the era where tools were not meant to last forever, and there isn't really any good reason why God Armor or a similar update to the enchantment system shouldn't exist today either. Nobody likes the too expensive system after all, and sentiment online overwhelmingly favors its removal. It's a small remainder of a bygone era of Minecraft. But what do you think? Leave a comment and let me know. Be sure to subscribe. Thank you all so much.
Pior que eu tinha esquecido, eu tive vários momentos desse bagulho da bigorna de ficar too expensive e etc. E o jogo te força a você ter mending pra não ter mais esse problema. É meio bosta mesmo. Eu vou ser bem sincero, eu acho que é meio bosta. Bom vídeo. Acho que eles vão arrumar isso mesmo. Tirar essa porra aí e deixar mais intuitivo, já que tem esse bagulho de crafting dos livros, etc. Tudo agora é mais facilitado pra criançada, né? Então acho que essa parte tinha que também ter.